Hello everyone, this course is about how to prepare the TCM license exam in a very short time. This course is not about explaining all contents of the Chinese medicine. This course is for the students who already studied all courses of the Chinese medicine. Okay? And nowadays, the Chinese medicine is becoming popular. So now, almost all countries, not just China or Korea, they have a Chinese medicine. And some countries already have license exams and even a national license exam or a state exam. Anyway, if you are a graduate from the Chinese medicine college recently and you never had taken the exam, then it will be a little bit difficulty for you to study or prepare the license exam, because license exam is not exactly same as you learned in your college. Yeah, it's the same, but to pass the exam, you need to know the key points. I mean, you need to know the intention of the examiner. What I summarized here is help you how to study the license exam. How to study, okay? Not just the license exam, all kinds of TCM exam. Okay, so I'm telling you what is the point, what is the key points. Well then, let's look at the chapter of channels. Okay, this part is very important. Usually, acupuncture exam, they usually test this part. There are many ways to test it. Like usually, they use the selecting the correct answer. This type of question usually they test the channels, the knowledge of channels. The most important thing is where the channels pass, the passage of channels, and the functions of channels. Okay, then let's begin. Okay, the meaning of channels. This is very basic, right? But they usually test what is the meaning of the channels. Okay, so this is usually the selecting the correct answer type. Okay, channels that transport and move qi and blood, connect organs and all body parts, a kind of controlling system of body. Okay, so this is a channel is like a wire of the electricity to transport electricity to light the bulbs, right? So you can imagine electric wire. And functions. This function is a general function, okay? And each channels have different functions. But this function here, what I wrote, is general functions. So you need to memorize these 4 functions. So the question can be like this: which one is not the general functions of channel? Okay. Number 1, connects inside and outside and connects all body parts. Second, transports and moves qi and blood, balance yin yang. Okay. Number 3, protects body from pathogens, shows pathologic situation. So number 3 is about diagnosis. For example, the liver has problem. Then the face can have the green color. Why? Why the situation of the liver appear in the face color? That's the function of the channel, because the face and the liver is connected by the channel. Okay, so why we can use the diagnosis like observation technique or even pulse diagnosis, even interrogation, how it works. That is because through the channel, the outside of the body and inside of the body is connected. That's how we observe the outside of the patient, and then we can guess what is happening inside the body. Okay, that's the meaning of the number 3, that shows pathologic situation. The number 3 transports signal of needling stimulation from point to organs and control the activity of organs. Number 4 is about treatment. Okay, yeah. Number 1, number 2 is physiology of the patient. Number 3 is diagnosis, and number 4 is treatment. By the channels, we can apply all kinds of Chinese medicine, from physiology, pathology, diagnosis, and treatment. Okay, how the acupuncture works? How? It is because of the channel. You needle acupoint and do the manipulation or stimulation, and this stimulation stimulate the channel, and then through the channel it sends the signals to the organs. For example, you do the manipulation of tonifying lung 7, for example, and then this signal, this information of tonification through needle will pass through the channel, and then it enters the lung, and it can tonify lung. Okay? Well, okay, then let's look at the next slides. There is a types of channels. So in the acupuncture theory, there are lots of channels. There's primarily the 12 primary channels, 8 extraordinary vessels. Yeah, extraordinary channel, they usually call it vessels, but this is also channel. So these 12 primary channels and 8 extraordinary vessels, these are the main channels that you have to study. And there is other channels that is like divergent channels, lower connecting channels, or sinew channels, minute collaterals, or cutaneous channels. Anyway, you have to study in detail the 12 primary channels and 8 extraordinary channels. What is the important thing here is the passages, where the channels passes. That is very important. And second, the name of channels and characteristics of channels. Okay, then I will explain one by one. Anyway, if you don't have time, concentrate on the 12 primary channels and extraordinary vessels. And sometimes the divergent channels and lower connecting channels, they usually test 1 or 2 questions. Okay, so in channels are usually called Zhang organs channels, because they are connected with Zhang organs. Okay, these in channels are usually the direction of flowing is to upward. Okay, it flows to upward. The direction is to top. Okay, and yang channels are usually connected to full organs, and then the direction of the channel is usually to the bottom. Okay, this concept you need to understand. Okay, maybe some people think it's very strange because why the yin goes to the top and why yang goes to the down. Because maybe you already learned yin is like very calm and is more like steady and heavy. So yin channel has to go bottom, and yang channel maybe you learned it is very light and very moving, so it must be going to the top. But in the channel it's contrary. Okay, you have to be careful. Okay, I'm not going to explain here why it is like that. Okay, because I think you already studied, or you may you can find it in your textbook, I think. Okay, anyway, this concept you have to understand. Okay, the direction of the channel. Okay, and hand channels and foot channels, it is divided into hand and foot. Okay, hand channels has lung, heart, pericardium, a large intestine, sanjiao or triple burner, small intestine, and the foot channel include spleen, kidney, liver, stomach, gallbladder, and urinary bladder. And anyway, this is a very basic knowledge in the acupuncture theory. Okay, if the test, the exam test is very easy one, I think they can test it. Which channel belong to hand channels, or which channel connect to full organ or zhang organ. But usually the country where has exam, license exam, very advanced license exam, because this is very too basic. This is too basic, so they can test it in the basic theory of Chinese medicine, not in the acupuncture theory. Okay. Anyway, you need to know this. Okay. And let's look at the next paragraph. There's written Tai Yin, Xiao Yin, Jue Yin, Tai Yang, Xiao Yang, Yang Ming. I think you need to know this because this is the name of the family where each primary channels belong to. So Tai Yin, this family includes lung channel and spleen channel, and Xiao Yin include heart channel and kidney channel, and so on. Why it is important? Because this name of family it decide the characteristics of the each channels. For example, lung and spleen channel, it looks they don't look like have a common thing. Yeah, they are zhang organs anyway, but because they are same family, like a Tai Yin family, so they communicate each other anyway. So when spleen has problem, you can use the channel of lung, and when lung has problem, you can choose you can use the channel of the spleen. So anyway, they influence each other. So that's why this name of family is important. And also there is another very deep philosophy of Chinese philosophy inside these names, but I'm not going to explain that in detail. But usually license exam, you need to know these names. Okay? And maybe I think you already know Yin channel and Yang channel. And then Tai Yin, Xiao Yin, Jue Yin, they are Yin channels. And Tai Yang, Xiao Yang, Yang Ming, they are Yang channels. Do you know the difference of Yin channel and Yang channel? Not just the direction of flowing, but the location of the channels. Yin channels, they are more inside the body. Okay, inner region of the foot, or inner region of the how can I say, the arms. There is a Yin channels. But yang channels are external region, okay, outer region, outer part, okay, outer part of the foot and outer part of the arms, okay. So you need to know this, okay, which channel passes the more inside, more outside, and then who is passing in the middle also, okay. I think you already know this if you look at the map of the channels or doors of the channels, okay. Okay, let's look at the next slides. Let's look at the 8 extraordinary vessels. They call it vessels, okay. If some books use the name channels, that is also okay, or meridians. But usually these extraordinary channels, they usually use the word vessels, okay. And then how can I say, you need to know the names of these extraordinary vessels, names, and depending on some textbooks, the names are different. But usually the exam, they use the Chinese pronunciation, pinning, what they say, Chinese pronunciation, because so many students, they use all different books, and all books have different names, because Chinese medicine is not yet, how can I say, unified. The names are unified to use the same words in all over the world. So all books are different. So you need to know at least the Chinese name, then it will be easy, okay? Or at least the meaning, the interpretation, translation of Chinese meaning to English, okay? And then you can memorize the names. Anyway, extraordinary vessels have governing vessel, in Chinese name Du Mai, and conception vessel, Ren Mai, okay? Penetrating vessel, Chong Mai, in Chinese name, girdling vessel, Dai Mai, girdling vessel, and Yang motility vessel, that is Yang Chao Mai, okay? In motility vessel, that is called In Chao Mai, and Yang linking vessel, that is called Yang Wei Mai. In linking vessel, that is called In Wei Mai. And then I think you already know these names. You can find the governing vessel, conception vessel, and penetrating vessel. I wrote in different color, right? Why I wrote in different color? Because these 3 vessels are more important than other extraordinary vessels. So if you don't have time, I recommend you concentrate on these 3 vessels. These 3 vessels are very much important, especially used a lot in the acupuncture treatment. And also Du Mai as a governing vessel and conception vessel, Du Mai and Ren Mai, there is a lot of acupoints, So some people, they think these 2 vessels, governing vessel and conception vessel, has to be primary channel. Some people think, okay, they consider it as primary channels, but anyway, it is extraordinary vessel anyway. And penetrating vessel, Chong Mai, is also important because in the gynecology, gynecology, they use a lot these 3 vessels, okay. In the extraordinary vessels, you need to study confluent point. Where is the confluent point? Okay, connecting. with primary channels, which points are connecting to primary channels. Okay, and general functions is also important. Okay, what is the general function of the extraordinary vessels? It works like a reservoir. It means there's, for example, the water tank, the reservoir of water, and then it controls the distribution of water to every houses, right? So extraordinary vessel function like that. It is a reservoir of qi and blood, and then when some primary channel is in lack of qi and blood, then it can send qi and blood to that primary channel to complete, to control, okay, to control and to manage the 12 primary channels. So that is the meaning of a reservoir. Number 2, it links 12 primary channels. It connects 12 primary channels, okay? So it communicates anyway. The 12 primary channels and 8 extraordinary channels, they communicate, okay? Number 3, protects body, okay? It protects body. It's a same meaning, same function with the 12 primary channels, okay? So this is a general functions, and you also need to study the special functions for each extraordinary vessels. If you have time, I recommend you study the special functions for each extraordinary vessels, okay, and also 12 primary channels also, okay, the functions, okay, what do they do, what is the function, physiological meaning, and what is the pathological meaning. Physiological meaning means in a situation of how can I say, in a healthy situation, what do they do? When some problem happens, what is the symptom? That is the pathological meaning, okay? And also treatment meaning. If you stimulate this channel, what will happen? Okay, these knowledge all are in the acupuncture textbook, okay? Okay, let's look at the next slides. Okay, internal and external. I think you already know this meaning. This is more about basic theory of Chinese medicine. So each organs have internal and external relationships, right? For example, lung is internal and large intestine is external. Heart is internal and small intestine is external, and so on. So pericardium and sanjiao, and spleen and stomach, kidney and urinary bladder, and liver and gallbladder. So they have all internal and external relationship, okay? But in the basic theory of Chinese medicine, maybe they didn't comment on pericardium and sanjiao, triple burner, because basic theory of Chinese medicine, they usually use 5-element theory to explain the organs. But in the acupuncture theory, they have channels. In the channel theory, they have not just the 5 elements, 5 elements, but not just, how can I say, the 10 organs. They have 12 organs, 12, right? Because they added pericardium and sanjiao, triple burner, as a name of channels. So you need to understand pericardium and sanjiao, or triple burner, they are internal and external relationship, okay? Pericardium is internal and sanjiao is external, okay? They are connected by luo connecting channels. How they are connected? through the lure connecting channel. Okay, lure connecting channel. You need to know this name. Okay, lure connecting channels. Okay, depending on the book, this name is also can be different. Okay, but if you know the lure, this Chinese name, it's okay. You can understand what it means. Okay. And next one, I wrote about the flow of channels. Okay, circuit of 12 primary channels, how they flow. Okay, you need to memorize this. Okay, many people do not like to memorize in Chinese medicine studying, but some knowledges you need to memorize. Okay, this is very much appear in the exam. It can appear in the basic theory of Chinese medicine or acupuncture theory. Okay, usually this is a selecting question. Okay. Then let's look at it. Chest to hand, hand to face, face to foot, foot to chest. So this is a kind of flowing order in 12 primary channels. Okay, not in the extraordinary channels. Okay, primary channels. Okay, so chest to hand. So I wrote there lung channel, right? So lung channel flow from chest to hand. Okay, and next channel is large intestine. Large intestine is hand to face, correct? And next one is stomach. Stomach flow from face to foot. And next channel is a spleen, and spleen flow from foot to chest. And then next one is heart. So heart flow from chest to hand, and next one is the small intestine, hand to face. So on. Okay. So you need to memorize this table in your head. Okay. If you look at this table, something very interesting is it is changing yin yang, yin yang, yin yang. Correct? Lung is yin channel, large intestine is yang channel, stomach is yang channel, spleen is yin channel. Yeah, that's right. It's not exactly yin yang, yin yang. It's not exactly. It is sometimes yin yang yang, yin yang yang, yin yang yang, yin like this. So twice. Yin yang yang, yin yang yang. It's like that. Okay, and you also need to understand where each channels are connected to other channel. For example, lung flow from chest to hand, and large intestine flow from hand to face, right? And then lung channel and large intestine channel are connected in the hand. Where is it? Where does it's connected? So these kind of point are connecting acupoint, connecting where it changes, lung to large intestine, where do they change the channels? Okay, so look at the textbook, and I recommend you memorize all points where the channels changes. Okay. Okay, let's look at the next slides. This is about time and the circuit. Okay, so each 12 primary channels, they have their own time. What is the time? It means during that time interval, that primary channel can be active. Okay, can be opened, can be more active. For example, 23 hour to 1 o'clock. It is 23 hour. I think it is 11 o'clock at night to 1 o'clock at night. During this time period, the gallbladder channel is active, is opened. And 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, during this time period, the liver channel is opened and be active. 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, the lung channel, and so on. So this is also important. Okay, it depends on the exam. If the exam is very much clinical, if they very much emphasize the clinical level, then this knowledge they usually consider you already know it, and this is too basic, so they don't test it. But basic theory of acupuncture, basic theory of Chinese medicine, they can test it. Usually this is a selecting question. Okay, not much. It can test 1 or 2 questions, just 1 question maybe. Okay, and this theory is very much related to chronoacupuncture, the time-related acupuncture. But usually the standard license exam, they don't test the chronoacupuncture or time-related treatment of acupuncture. They don't test it. They usually, okay. So anyway, you need to memorize it. Okay. Now let's look at the next slide. It is about connecting points of channels. For example, yang channel and yang channel. For example, large intestine and stomach channel is connected to each other at the side of nose, right? This is a connecting point of between the large intestine and stomach. You need to memorize all this. This also can appear in the test as a selecting correct answer question. Okay, not much, maybe one question. It can be 1 or 2 questions. The inner canthus of eye, small intestine and urinary bladder is connected to each other here. Okay, so and outer canthus, gallbladder and sanjiao. Okay, yang to yang. Okay, and in to in, in channel and in channel, they are connected inside the lung, connected liver and lung channel. So it means lung channel passes the lung, and liver channel also passes the lung. Okay. In the channel, there is a main branch and there is small branches. You need to know all these passages. Okay. Now, inside the heart, the spleen and heart channels are connected, and inside the chest, the kidney and pericardium channels are connected. And yin and yang. This is very important, interesting. When yin channel and yang channel are changing, for example, yin channel to yang channel, or yang channel to yin channel, it happens where? Usually ends of the fingers of hands and feet. Okay, so hand and feet, the ends of the fingers of hands and feet, the yin channel to yang channel or yang channel to yin channel, it is changing. Okay, this concept is I think very interesting in acupuncture theory. Okay, so let's look at the treating areas of 12 primary channels. It means where do they treat? Okay, for example, lung channel treat lung, throat, chest, right? For example, this kind of area has problem, you need to use lung channel. And pericardium, heart, stomach, mind, chest. I know it is not that easy for you to memorize all of these treating areas if you didn't study in detail the Chinese acupuncture. But I think if you read books very carefully and following the map, the map of the channels, you confirm where does these channels are passing, and what do they do, what these channels are doing. You need to check each channels. Okay. These 12 primary channels question usually has one or two questions. So maybe you think, just for one or two questions, do I have to memorize all of these? But in the clinical question, it can be tested indirectly, because you need to know, you need to use this knowledge to solve the clinical questions. Okay, clinical question is they usually give you a case. Okay, they give you a case, clinical case. For example, this patient the age and sex and symptoms and the clinical situation, and then you need to decide how to treat. At the time, you need to know, you need to use this knowledge to decide and to solve the questions. Okay. Anyway, this is very important. Okay. For example, the liver channel. The liver channel treat liver, sexual area, or abdomen. Right. Liver channel. Did you find it here? Yeah, on the bottom, liver channel. And then the question can be like this. Okay, this patient has a sexual problem. It can be gynecology problem, or infertility problem, or whatever. It can be problem of a man, whatever. And then you need to know liver can treat sexual area, and then you can choose the acupoint liver 3. Correct? Yeah, you can memorize liver 3 can treat this gynecology problem of man. You can memorize it directly, but you need to know why, because the liver channel is passing the sexual area, correct, and also abdomen. So why liver 3 can treat the abdominal pain? Why? Do you know that? Because the liver channel pass the abdomen and also treat the abdomen. That's the mechanism. Okay. So anyway, you need to know all of these treating areas to use to your clinical situation. Okay. Let's look at the pathological symptoms of 8 extraordinary vessels. So pathological symptom means when this channel has problem, what is going to happen? What symptom will appear? Okay. For example, governing vessel has problem, 두말. What is the symptom? Conception vessel, 런말, has problem. What is the symptom? Okay, so on. Anyway, if you don't have time, governing vessel, conception vessel, penetrating vessel, these 3 extraordinary vessels you need to study. Okay, more in detail. Okay, but if you have time, I recommend you study all of this. All of. Yeah. If the exam questions are become difficult, then they can test you like yang linking vessel. What is the symptom of the yang linking vessel? Can you answer this question? Yang Wei Mai. What is the symptom when Yang Wei Mai has problem? Okay, like that. Okay. The diseases of 8 extraordinary vessels. Anyway, I wrote here, summarized for your convenience. So you can read my slides. For example, Renmai. When Renmai has problem, stroke for being collapsed, or coldness for deficiency, or problems in lower burner, or mind problem, or Zhang and Fu organs problem, or gynecology problem, etc. These kind of symptoms can appear. Okay, you need to memorize all of these symptoms. Okay. If you don't have time, the letters that I wrote in different color, green color, the gynecology, do meridian has problem, can happen, lumbar problem, back ache, or back neck, or vertebra problem, etc. And Chongmai, penetrating channel, penetrating vessel, if it has problem, reproductory system, sexual system can have problem, or infertility problem. Okay. Diseases of extraordinary vessels, another extraordinary vessels, like a Daimai, girdling vessel, right? Girdling vessel is very interesting. It is holding other channels. That is going to the top, going to the bottom. Because girdling vessel is horizontal. Other channels are usually the vertical, right? So Daimai, girdling vessel, is holding to fix it, to fix other channels. Okay. When this Daimai has problem, what is going to happen? Channels are not fixed and forceless in the waist, forceless in the legs, or abdominal pain, reach lumbar and vertebra, etc., etc. Okay. The young motility vessel, inmotility vessel, can have problem of insomnia or sleepy. Okay, because they are reaching the eyes and they are controlling the movement of our how do you call it? Close your eye, open your eye. They control this. So in the problem of insomnia, why do they use the channel of young motility vessel or inmotility vessel? Why do they use it? Because of this. Okay. And which acupoints are on these channels? Which acupoints? You need to know this to decide to decide which acupoint you are going to use. Okay. The young motility vessel, external side of leg has spasm, etc., etc. Anyway, let's proceed. Yang Wei Mai, yang linking vessel, in Wei Mai, in linking vessel. Okay. Yang Wei Mai can have problem of heat and coldness, superficial syndrome, headaches, or obscure eyesight. Okay. In Wei Mai, pain in the heart, or chest, ribs, and abdomen, in syndrome, internal syndrome. In Wei Mai, do you know pericardium 6? Here, pericardium 6. This is very much tested a lot in the question, in the exam. For example, pain in the heart, pain in the chest. Which acupoint is proper? The answer is pericardium 6, because the pericardium 6 is going to open in Wei Mai. Okay, and then you need to memorize these two. 8 extraordinary vessels has their own special acupoints to open them. For example, pericardium 6 can open in Wei Mai. Okay. Another example. For example, spleen 4. Spleen 4 is going to open penetrating vessel, Chongmai. okay, and etc. So on. All extra 8 extraordinary vessels has their own special acupoint to open them, okay. And then when one channel has problem, you need to open the channel, correct? Now let's look at the 12 divergent channels. You need to know the meaning of divergent channels. What is divergent channel? Divergent channel is a kind of branch of the 12 primary channels. Okay, each primary channels have their own divergent channel. It's like a small branch. Okay, and this small branch connect to other parts to have other functions. Okay, there is no acupoints on these 12 divergent channels. There's no acupoint. Okay, remember that. And connects primary channels and internal organs. This is the function of the first function of the 12 divergent channels. Okay, connects. Okay, strengthen the yin-yang relationship between internally and externally paired channels and organs. For example, a lung channel and large intestine channel, they are yin-yang relationship. Then the divergent channels between them, divergent channel of lung, divergent channel of large intestine, they are connecting. Okay, strengthen the relationship between them. Okay, distribute qi and blood to head and face. Okay, that is another function. Integrates the body parts to stabilize, okay, or to communicate. Explains functions of acupoints. Okay, how some acupoints can have these functions. They usually use divergent channel theory to explain that. Okay, because just the primary channel that passes where and what do they do, that is not exactly enough. That's why they use this divergent channel theory to explain more functions of the acupoints. Okay, yeah, these functions is also important. Okay, this can be a selecting question. The functions of 8 extraordinary vessels, this part you need to memorize all of it. Okay, there's too many things to memorize. Yeah, that's true. Anyway, and there's some letters that I wrote in different colors, like du meridian, du vessel, governing vessel. It links all yang channels at du 14. Du 14 is here, and all yang channel, yang primary channels, they are connected to here. Okay, and it is called Sea of Yang channels. Sea of Yang channels. This is another name. In the basic theory of Chinese medicine, they can test you like this. Which channel is called Sea of Yang channels? And then you have to choose Du Mai, governing vessel. Correct? Well, they can test you. Which is the different name, another name for conception vessel? The correct answer is Sea of Yin channels. Okay, Sea of Yin channels. Because all of the yang channels and all of the yin channels are linked to the governing vessel or conception vessels. Okay, so conception vessel, it links all yin channels, so that's why it is called Sea of Yin channels. And also it helps regulate qi of all yin channels. Okay, Let's look at the Chongmai penetrating channel. It links stomach and kidney, and also strengthen Runmai conception vessel and Dumai governing vessel. So it is called a sea of blood, sea of 12 channels. Okay, you need to memorize this name. Runmai, Dumai, Chongmai, they have the same origin from uterus. Okay, same origin of uterus. And other extraordinary vessels you need to study also. For example, Yin Chao Mai dominate quietness, and Yang Chao Mai dominate activity. Okay, like this. Yin Wei Mai dominate internal part, Yang Wei Mai dominate external part. So when a patient has internal body, internal part, internal problem, internal organ problem, we usually choose Yin Wei Mai. Correct? Pericardium 6 to open Yin Wei Mai to regulate the internal organs. Okay. Anyway, you need to study all of these, the functions. Okay.